Hello, can you hear me? Is there audio? Hello, can you hear me? Seems like we have audio. Welcome, live viewer and people who are watching the VOD on my channel. I am Brother Tobias, and this is going to be my little stream for Tyrannic War veterans. So before I begin with the meat and potatoes, let's take a look at what the issue and the deal is. So let's find the page. There they are. So, Tyrannic War veterans have pretty decent stats, and way back when 9th edition launched, they got a second wound, just like all the Primaris Space Marines. So now they essentially have exactly the same profile as Primaris Intercessors, but more leadership and a way better gun, because the special issue Volt gun has 30-inch range and -2 AP, which means it goes to -3 AP in the tactical doctrine. Tyrannic War veterans are essentially identical to Sternguard veterans, except for the fact that they don't have any weapon options for their little gear. Like, they can't use combi weapons, the sergeant can't have a melee weapon, but in exchange you get this neat little rule that allows you to re-roll wounds and hits against Tyranid models, which is not going to come up in every single matchup, but it is definitely pretty useful. So, and today is the day that the Ultramarine FAQ launched, and all of the points updates from the Monitorum field manual are public, which means we are now confirmed at having 17 point per model Tyrannic War veterans, which is pretty cool if you think about the fact that an intercessor who has objectively worse stats is 20 points. So, for this reason, I will be building Tyrannic War veterans, as many as I can during this stream. In order to do that, I got my hands on these little shoulder pads. The camera would focus on them. There we go. We have the little Tyrannic skull, and I have 30 of them. And obviously, to accompany that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 boxes of Sternguard veterans that we will be building our Tyrannic War veterans out of. So, let us begin. I have never opened this kit before, but I heard good things about how many weapon options are in the box. I think it's 7 unique Space Marine helmets that you can build. So, transfer sheets, bases, instruction manual, and of course the Sternguard veterans themselves. So, we will be needing the knife, the cutters, the glue, and I even prepared a hot glue to get the resin shoulders on, and a little drill to drill the barrels of the bolt guns. So I think I will just build one unit on stream that will fill up the stream time plenty. Feel free to drop some talk in chat if you feel like it. Otherwise, I will just keep building according to the instruction manual. Let's start with the sergeant. The sergeant, we need leg 4 is going to be this one. Cut it out. As well as shoulder pads, back plates. They're all the same. That's how these old Space Marine kits work. All of the plates are essentially the same. And then we get the front plate, which is the 8. Now where's front plate 8? There it is, on this row. Okay, we can't build it like this because we don't actually... Oh yeah, we can. So we have a little pointy finger. The 102. Little pointy finger. And we get arm 22. This one. Holding the bolt gun rather tight. So I'm actually really excited to try them out on the battlefield, because it seems like a good idea to have Tyrannic war veterans run amok, but I might be wrong. Arm number 86. I'll take this one. Which shoulder pad do the Tyrannic war veterans usually use? Let's take a look. They are still in the gallery. There they are. Okay. Seems to be the right shoulder. That is always the one that we have to use. So we can't actually use arm number 22 because it already has a shoulder pad on it. So I guess, can we skip ahead? Or an alternative way to build the guy? Yeah. So in that case, taking one of the arm pairs. Whoa. Let's take 77B and 77A. There they are. 78B. Where is 78? 87, not quite. There it is, 77. B. And then we will need one of the master-crafted bolt guns, which I can't find. Oh, there it is. There's one. Yeah, there seem to be slight differences in how they look. I never opened this kit before. Looks like a pretty fun kit. Okay, so we have arms, legs, and now we just need a helmet. Which one did they use for the sergeant? Which one did they use? 96 with the little decoration on top. 96. Where is it? Little 96. E6. Sometimes it takes ages to find the parts. I see 99. I definitely need that. I'll put on some music. Completely forgot about that. It's the Dawn of War 2 soundtrack. My apologies for forgetting to turn it on. Was pretty nervous as to whether or not this stream is even going to work. Never used this software before. 66. Why can't I find that helmet? Where is it? $65. Did they just miss number it? Because that seems like the helmet that is there. No, it's not. It's not the same. Where is it? I guess I can't find that helmet. I will just use a different helmet. My apologies for people who are screaming at the screen. So let's get rid of the remains of the sprue. Mold lines. Scrape away all the mold lines. This is usually the part where I start cutting my fingers with the knife, because dexterity is not my highest stat. Okay. Get rid of this. And that little mold line over here. For the flat surfaces, I find it's better to just scrape away the mold lines and sprue remains, while in the spaces you can't see them, we are looking at a bit more further. Let me excuse me. Yeah, excuse me, I just had to refresh the music. So, yeah, so for these sprue remains here, this is right where the arm is supposed to connect, so I prefer to just really roughly cut it away, so there's no way that it would keep the parts from connecting. Whereas on spaces you can see, like right here on the leg, those mold lines I prefer to just rape away. That way they won't show up as nasty little surprises when you paint the model later on. There we go. So, just like this, just scrape it all off. People like to file them off too, but I'm personally relying on the knife more than anything else. There we go. Okay. So, that's the legs, for the arms. Now we can get a bit closer to the work in progress, I guess. So that is happening. Clack. And the reason why we are not buying a bunch of the original Tyrannic War veterans is because there's only 4 sculpts, and buying them in masses to make a unit out of would both be very expensive, because I think they're pretty expensive on the web store. It would look very boring because every model looks the same and you cannot do anything with the poses because they're made in one piece. And lastly, it is also pretty annoying that they are made out of fine cast resin, which means they are really tough to work with because every little arm or gun or accessory on them could just break off. And yeah, working with resin is just not fun in the slightest, so I prefer to reduce the resin count all over my collection as much as possible. There we have another bolt gun. I always like to build wacky Space Marine units and ideas. Back in the day, when I was still a little scout, I made up my own Space Marine chapter, and I used little bits and pieces from all the upgrade sprues from every other Space Marine chapter. I had a bunch of Space Wolves and Blood Angels and Dark Angels all mixed together, and the result didn't look very good, but it was certainly a unique little army to look at. I really liked the color scheme too. It was segmented, so I had basically the bottom parts of the power armor feet were black, and the calves were in red, and then it would like alternate between red and black, always back and forth between red and black. I missed that army. I think I lost it over time. There's a nasty mold line on the top of this hair plume. Pretty awkward to hold, actually. So let's do this. Do that. And there we go. These hair plumes are rather popular, I think. The guy who's managing the local Games Workshop store, he is really, really, really into these little Roman-looking hair plumes, and he always had this system where if someone at the store wouldn't use theirs, he would trade them for other bits, because I think he was using them to build a Horus Heresy army, which has a lot more of this aesthetic than the regular 40k armies. So yeah, that was fun. So now we need a shoulder pad. There's more than enough options, I think. Let's take like a regular one with like a little sigil on it. So what do we take? I think I like this one. I think I like this one with the Crux Terminatus on it. Yeah. Let's take this one for the left arm. And lo and behold, one of the Tyrannic War Veteran shoulder pads for the right arm. These clip off rather easily. Wait. Now let's glue this little guy to the base. I always tend to start with the legs, so I can focus on the rest of the model and I can grab it by the base when I start rearranging stuff to this. So this is going to be the veteran sergeant of the squad. He's the one who's going to end up providing them with leadership 10 due to the ultramarine bony that we get. And we can definitely fit the plume on this head, right? Yes. Oh, but doesn't look too good. Too much glue on the little bar. There we go. So this is going to be the plume for the helmet. So this is going to be a very fancy model to paint. I really like painting these little head plumes. I always do them alternating, white and red, always back and forth. If you look at my apothecary, you will remember. If you look at Corpus Helix, the chief apothecary. So let me have this. And this. It's here, these two arms. And now take the little bolt gun. And glue it on in a way that makes sense. Like this. Okay. Now the base body is essentially finished. Now we just need to put on the head and the little shoulder pads. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. I like it. Oh, I forgot Remove the mold lines from this one. Ooh. So it's a rather nasty thing. You have to look at it later on while you paint the model. It can be a major pain. So, hey, let's drill into the glue. We need super glue for this one because the resin doesn't like to work with the plastic. And just like that, we have our first Tyrannic War veteran built. Now we just need to put the backpack on. Take a fancy backpack. Oh, I like this one. I like this one with the Aquila. I really like this one. Immediately went to my head. I like this one. Then there was also a bit of like decorations on it. Yeah, I want to find this little Aquila and put it on the backpack. So this guy's just birding it up. He has all the birds. Here it is. Oh, and there was the head. Was it? No, it's 99. No, it wasn't the head. Clip. 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 Yeah, the Horus Heresy used to be really popular among the people in my store, even before it came out. Like, before Forge World made the rules for the Horus Heresy game, which, to those of you who don't know, is basically Warhammer 40k 10,000 years before. So it's mostly a Space Marine based game, where all the Space Marine legions before the split into Chaos and Imperium have their own rules. And the rule set is pretty deep, actually. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it. You can play all the characters from the books. And before that was even out, there were people at the store making entire armies of Horus Heresy World Eaters and Iron Warriors. It was quite a sight to behold. They even made a big campaign at the store, which I didn't attend, but it looked pretty cool. And that's how it was. I wasn't around the store anymore when the actual Horus Heresy came out. I think they probably like went really ballistic at it and started to play it like crazy, I would imagine. So here we go. The shoulder pad. And always the autofocus. Little shoulder pad. Backpack. I'm so stupid. It's a backpack. And now we add the eagle on top. The backpack. So this guy is definitely the man in charge of the squad, as we can see. That took half an hour. Always a bit of a fight to work with these new sculpts you never had your hands on. And I will finish all of them off screen. I will cut the stream at an hour just to not bore anyone. So let's take all of the torsos, and legs are compatible, I would assume, because that's how it used to be for the Space Marine kits. So I'll just take what I need and build another one real quick. Let's take 76, 75. Here's 75. Take an arm, and now we need 76, which is this one over here. Great. That means we have a pair of legs, we have that, and now we need the gun, which is going to be on a different sprue. as I noticed. Take this one. Snap, snap, snap. Okay. There we are. A shoulder pad. I will take a small one this time. Just this one is going to be a more modest veteran compared to the sergeant, and I will take this cool looking helmet here. This little precious little helmet here. I'll take this one. So let's get to work. A backpack. A backpack. I like this one. Let's just take this one. And that's all we need. Go to work. I hope that was all we need. More scraping. More scraping. More scraping the mold lines. And getting the model ready to work. Speaking of work, one of my colleagues at one of my battle brothers at my current job brought a football to work today. So, because we were so bored and there was nothing to do during the break while we had to wait for more work to work on, we just started passing the football back and forth. Which wasn't very entertaining, but it was something to do. You don't always have to be on your phones, right? Hey, there it is. So, more of this. Snap, snap. You always have to be really careful with these shoulder pads because it's really easy to ruin the slope of those exhaust ports. Cut it all up. Getting to work. Okay. So far it seems to be that this little stream is actually working as I hoped it would. So next time I will announce the stream a while before I actually do it, so I can tell my small group of followers to tune in at a reasonable time. I just came back from work and I was like, you know what I will do? I will just go ahead and just try out if I can even do this, and apparently I can. I have to check back on the audio quality of the mic, and obviously the image is really crisp even though the autofocus isn't great, which is unfortunately a byproduct of the camera and the recording software I'm using. Once I switch to OBS, I hope everything will look a bit better. But right now I'm still on mirrorless action, and this program has caused quite a few headaches for me in the past. Hey. More mold lines on the shoulders. Getting ready to grab that weapon. Wait. And of course, once the model is assembled, you can always add a few purity seals and like little bones and other Imperium worshipping gear to your model to make it stand out a bit more. But you can add those after the model is assembled. I always assemble my models whole in one piece so I can play with them before painting them. And there's a lot of good arguments to paint your models in separate pieces, but I'm just too impatient to go that direction. I just have to have the model ready, and when I paint it, I will just fumble around with my little brushes until I get all the spaces, even if they're really difficult to reach. So I'm saying so a lot. That's because I usually don't talk this much when I'm building my models, but it's where it is. Although that's not really true. Yeah, we used to talk a lot back in the days when I was going to that GW store every weekend, and there was always going to be someone sitting on the little table they have put up just for people to assemble and paint all of their models. There was always a good conversation to be had with at least one person. Reminds me of that one time when I accidentally almost stole another guy's pink horror because I was doing something at the painting table. I think I was painting a Mauler Fiend. But the guy in front of me was doing a bunch of pink horrors, and I also had pink horrors in my little bag. And I thought, because one of them fell to my side of the table, that it was my pink horror. And the guy was speaking up rather shyly. He was like, excuse me, I think you have my model. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right, I'm super sorry. Yeah, it was obvious to tell it was his pink horror because the bases were different. My horrors were still on little 25mm bases, and he already had the upgraded 32s, like this one. So it was easy to tell. I just didn't notice it. It was just the model was on my side of the painting table, and I thought maybe it got stuck in the foam casings of the transport bag, and then I accidentally pulled it out with my actual paint goal. Yeah, but it's always cool. You can always talk to people. It's something a lot of people forget. Don't be afraid to speak up if there's something happening. It's no fear, as we Space Marines like to say. So, more glue on this. And we have the next Tyrannic War veteran. So yeah, if you can count, we have 30 shoulder pads and we have 6 times 5 miniatures, which means we will end up with a unit of 10. 2 units of 10. 3 units of 10. I can count apparently. We will end up with 3 units of 10. And I already have a list in the works. None of this has any relation to Space Marine Place 40k, the little series where I built the army from the ground up. This is not part of this army, and that series is still on hold until I can find the time to, or not the time, the opportunity to play an actual competitive game on a tournament level, because right now we are still on lockdown and there's nothing even close to being able to go outside and play a game with your toy soldiers. And I guess there are more important problems out in the world right now, but yeah, still pretty not the greatest feeling when you just can't progress with what you already started, because I could point the camera at the screen right now and just show off how much stuff I already did for the last 4 episodes of the series, and I just can't show it to anyone. Yeah. It is what it is. And while I'm speaking, I finished the second member of the squad from the sprue. Here we go. Once the models are properly dried, I will use the little miniature drill to drill in the barrel holes to make it look more realistic on the table. Get the super glue. Put the Tyrannic War Veteran shoulder pad on. And it's a wrap. Alright. Yeah, it's pretty cool shoulder pads, not gonna lie. I really like how they look. And I was a fan of those Stern Guard Veterans for a while. I would use the regular Stern Guard Veterans if I could. But they are just objectively the worst option when you have access to Tyrannic War Veterans, because on top of having extra rules against one specific faction in the game, you also get a bunch of you also get a discount for the same model, which is pretty unintuitive. But there's also another example where Black Templar Crusaders are 3 points cheaper than Tactical Marines for the regular Space Marines. So it's essentially the same unit, just with less options, because Black Templar Crusaders can actually carry melee weapons instead of bolt guns. So yeah, no idea what GW is thinking about it. Maybe they just don't want us to use Tactical Marines anymore. It is how it is. Take the 83 and the 84. 83 and where's 84? 85, 90, 88, 81, 70. Where is it? '83. Wait, this is the 84. What do I have? 81? 83. Oh yeah, I'm stupid, yeah. I thought that was a different arm. I thought that was another right arm when it was a left arm. Okay. Don't mind me. I'm not the brightest tool in the shed. Yes, the brightest tool. A gun. Let's take this one. Get it out. Put it down. And I want one of those beak helmets. The little beaky helmets. I'll take the one without the Aquila. This is going to be a guy wearing proper pre-heresy gear, which means I have to take this pair of legs instead of the other one, because it doesn't have the round knee pads. which means it could be a Mark 6 armor instead of a Mark 7 armor. For those of you who can do anything with that information. So, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. Backpack. What do I like? I think I like this one. I say that as if I won't use every single backpack at least once, but because there's 5 in the box. So, I need to stop saying that. Carry on. That's all. Yes, that is it. So, let's see if we can finish this little Tyrannic war veteran. Hey. 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 The beak. The chest plates. Those don't take a lot of time. Clean up. There we are. Careful not to snap the little decoration on the exhaust port. And I should scrape this a bit safer so I don't ruin the entire backpack by cutting up too much. Hey, hey, hey. Let's go. I was always a big fan of the Space Marine Captain backpack because that one had these 2 eagles instead of the little exhaust ports on the side. I always thought that backpack looked really cool. And they kind of put the same thing on Manius Kelgar later on when they made his Primaris model. He also has these eagle exhaust ports. It's all about the birds and the gold. Always has been. So, another one done. Scrape, 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 scrape. Test stream still running. Still running. It was kind of a risky timing, honestly, to make the stream at this time of day, because that's usually when every now and then our internet provider is resetting their servers for the day, and then we just crash for like 10 to 5 minutes and have no internet at all, which doesn't seem to be what I should be paying for, but that's how it is around here. Sometimes you have to be happy that you are allowed the luxury of a stable connection, even though it's slow as hell because there's no fiber in this country. I should call up the Tech Marines and get myself a bit more advanced. That is a big little thing. There we go. Scrape it away. We have 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. Finish this guy. Can probably do another one. I'm down for another one. Now the leg. The leg is always the one with the most egregious mold line. That hasn't changed even in the Primaris days. There's always this one mold line on the legs that is just the worst thing if you don't get it off. If you don't get that mold line off and you paint the model and then you have to paint over the mold line and it feels dirty as hell. But it's just... Some people just also put edge highlights on their mold lines, which is just chaotic. Do not talk or interact with these people. They are not your friends. Do not, under any circumstances, talk to people who accentuate their mold lines. That is just pure evil. Okay. And sometimes I'm way too far down on the camera. I need to pay more attention to where I actually hold my hands. Hey. We go. I wonder what that song is. I think that's the Eldar theme in Dawn of War 2. Is that the Eldar theme? Dawn of War 2 has a great soundtrack. No questions asked. Pretty inspiring, pretty heroic. That was maybe too much. Dang it. Still good. Okay. Clean it up. We have cleaned up all the parts, so now we need a shoulder pad. I knew I forgot something. And for this we will be using the traditional Mark 6 shoulder pad. The traditional Mark 6 shoulder pad with the studs, the studded one. Always been a big fan of the studded parts. And there is another Tyrannic War Veteran. Ready. We are 1/10 of the way towards getting them ready on the table. I did a small audio check before I went live, and there should be a voice. If there isn't, I have been talking for the last hour to myself, which would be a bit embarrassing, but also pretty comedic if I tell people. So, that is the body. Let's glue this one together. And of course, the backpack to the body. All right. But don't you dare leave me. Concentrating on this little assembly. There we go. Another one down. This is going to look really good with the shoulder pad and the beak. Oi. There we are. a pretty nice kit. I just wish it was true scale, so that it wouldn't look too tiny next to the Primaris Space Marines, but oh well. Come on, camera. Don't leave me hanging. Another one! Great! Let's free down, and I might as well do one more. What are you saying, if you can hear me? Well, you probably won't say anything, but I will do another one anyway. Let's take this. And let's take... Did we already do 77? 77. We can actually do a bit more of a unique pose, actually. Let's just take 79. Let me think. I do want this. And then we can put a pointy finger on it to make a guy who's pointing and holding his gun down. Yeah, seems like a good idea. But they don't all look the same. Right now all of them are kind of the same in terms of what they are looking at, how they are looking at it, and this one is going to be a bit more unique. There we are. Put this one away. We need a gun. Guns are in the other one. Let's take this helmet right here. Flip it up. Flip, clip. We have our pair of legs. And take a really fancy shoulder pad. I think I like this one. This one looks pretty promising. Right here. The little cord. And the Aquila. What more can you ask for? Yeah. Another thing you obviously have to put on them later on are these grenade belts and the ammo pouches, but you can do that after the model is assembled. It is usually a really easy thing to just tack on afterwards. Okay. Scrape, scrape, scrape. I got some super glue on my hands. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Okay. We need a backplate. We need a backplate and a gun. Still, a gun. Yeah, all these great little weapon options, like all the combi weapons and stuff, and we can't use any of them. Hurts a bit, but what can you do? Like, that's the little bolt gun assembled, and up we go. I learned my lesson, so this time we just scrape against the gun barrel. And there we go. Hey. Yeah. Put that little mold line away from the belt. And I really like those bolt guns. They look pretty slick. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan, actually. So, helmets. Getting the helmet ready, and of course, because we're talking about Brother Tobias here, every single Space Marine will be wearing a helmet at the end of this. Because if you don't wear a helmet, what are you doing? I left a lot of like dirt around. Yikes. Assembling a model can get pretty messy. Here we are. Hey. Clean it up. Ooh. Little mold line. On. A little pointy finger. After the stream, I will probably scour my bits box for a few like robotic prosthetic Space Marine arms to put on my guys, just to really hammer home how these are veterans that survived fighting the evil bug aliens for so long. Not like the poor Tyranids needed more of a beatdown. They're not doing too great at the moment, and I really hope that their next codex is going to be a good one, because I always liked playing Tyranids and playing against Tyranids. It was always fun. Just wish they were a bit more powerful. Better scraping this. Alright. Need to hurry up. So I can say I can assemble 4 guys in 1 hour. That's a pretty good quota for a kid I've never worked with. And we did talk a bit at the beginning about the book and the rules. So that is a thing. Backpack ready? Yes, backpack ready. Last but not least, the legs. That leg though. That leg though. These are going to be a blast to paint, but I will probably think differently after painting the 5th of them, because it might become a very tedious paint job, but oh well. I promised the guys on the Ultramarine Discord that I would make this army happen, and I will. The 30 war vets will rise to glory and get it done. Yeah, glue. Blue. Did we forget to put out the back plate? We did. So clumsy. So clumsy. As I said before, in the video series, I am not a tech marine. Not meant to build. I was made to destroy. And the main thing I destroy is my own self-confidence. So. Another one for the collection. This one. Is now ready. And we will put the pointy finger on the arm made for the pointy finger. So now we can point at things. It's pretty rude, but when fighting the alien horrors of space, you don't need manners, you need a bunch of bullets. There we go. This is... Sometimes I feel like these don't fit at all, but they always do. Pretty weird. So... Get that on. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I like it. That could have been the sergeant, but oh well. The important shoulder pad. And the helmet. And the backpack. There it is. Yeah, I really like this guy. This guy looks pretty good. And that's also where I think I can call it in. We managed to build 4 guys in roughly an hour. That's not bad. I will continue to build more Tyrannic War Veterans. As you can see, I have a bunch of stock. I might come back to a stream when I start to paint them, or if I'm bored and I need to talk to someone while I assemble them. So, thank you very much for watching, be it live or if you're watching the VOD, and I hope I see you next time on the channel. We march for McCrag, for honor and glory.